Nothing. Oh, yeah. We're not going to be able to go live on Facebook, but I sent the message out to everybody. So
All right.
hopefully they let us go on. There we go. I think we are live. Yes, we are. I apologize, everybody, for that. I have no idea why Netflix.
I can't hear you now. I can't hear you.
Uh-oh.
You lost all your.
Uh-oh. Hopefully I didn't get off. No, I'm still in there. Hold on. Audio.
I'm back.
Okay.
I'm back.
It was you. Okay. Yeah, I still only have half my page loading up. And for those of you that are on, well, actually, I left a message on Facebook. If you want to swing over, I left the link so you guys can come because we lose our spot. If you're 10 minutes late on your start time on Facebook, they cut your stream off. So if you know somebody that's watching on Facebook, tell them to come on over to the YouTube channel.
Yeah, and tell Comcast to get bent. They ran a test on John right at Showtime.
Right at Showtime, and it never fails. Let me make sure all the comments are coming in, and they look like, they're all going to be from YouTube. Welcome, everybody. Leanne, Morgan, Mike, Phil. Who else is in there?
Becky's in there. Mike's in there. Mallory's in there. Hold on, I'm scrolling.
Luke.
You said Luke, Liana, me. Oh, I commented.
Me.
Hey, hi, Tim. Phil in the house. And I think, Luke's up there. Yeah. All right, cool. And Tho's here.
Yeah. Did we lose Tom? Maybe. Is he coming back?
Tom was having audio issues, so he logged out. I don't know what his issue was, so he may not be back. So
yeah, hopefully he comes back. It'd be good to have him back on. Paul, welcome back to the show.
G'day, boys. How are we?
Yeah, good. How is your morning?
So far, so good.
Oh, there he is. I think Tom has made it back. Tom, can you hear us, Tom?
Hello?
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. Tom from a remote location.
Major Tom.
From an undisclosed location.
Undisclosed. He's coming to you from a prison deep into Wisconsin, somewhere in Wisconsin. Is there? Yeah, they have prisons there. I was just going to ask a blonde question there and ask if they have prisons there.
There's too much money in prisons, John. They've got them everywhere.
Yes, we have prisons here.
You got them everywhere. Oh, welcome everybody to the Wednesday Night Live show. Apologize for the mix-up. You guys can send your hate mail to www.comcast.net.
Yeah. Send it to me. I'll tell you to fuck off.
Yeah. How's it going there, Tommy boy?
I'm tired and I want to be home.
How long have you been away?
Technically, I was home for like a day, Monday.
Yeah,
but
back on the road again.
Overall, it'll be 2 weeks before I'm home for a while.
That's good. I'm sure somebody over there misses you.
Yeah, my dog.
Your dog. I was going to say, it's only the dog that's going to miss you, Tom. So don't worry about it. Dogs don't have feelings.
Oh, yes, they do.
Yeah, they do.
Shut the hell up, John.
Yeah, they do, John. Don't.
Y'all send all your hate.
John must not have dogs. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And they don't have souls either.
Yes, they do.
No, that's gingers, John. That's gingers.
Right.
That's not dogs.
I
that's
have
gingers.
no soul.
Look, Paul's got something he wants to get on. Go ahead, Paul.
Dogs do have souls. Dogs do have feelings, and you're in a whole lot of trouble for that. Oh, by the way, everyone send feet photos and nudes to
to
John at Comcast.
No. Oh God! And how is Mr. Tim doing down there?
Running ragged, man. I'm still getting into what we might want to call work shape. You know, it's like it was a whole culture shock for me to go from like basically sleeping in until like 9, 10 every day, and then kind of having all these little luxuries to sit at home. And now I'm up before the sun's up and down the road, and then I'm there all day just to come home to scramble and get a bunch of stuff done before I got to do. See, dogs have feelings. They're not happy with it either.
They're upset about what I had to say. They're taking it out on the show.
Yes, exactly. It's all good, and I will adapt quickly. It's been a while since I've had a real job. Let's just
you got a point, Mike.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. If it doesn't make me a sandwich, it's not important.
No.
Yeah. So the topic of today's show is who do we hate now? The list just seems to get longer and longer. We had a big change. Well, it's a good change. I thought it was a good change, but for some reason I forgot who the lieutenant governor was in New York. And then I did a little looky look, and I go, "Oh, wait a minute! I've seen her before." And why are people calling me right now?
Yeah, it's Comcast to not apologize.
I'm doing my show. I'll call you back. Bye. Yeah. So, I wanted to talk a little bit about her and a little bit about what she stands for as far as vaping. She was backing up Cuomo a lot on a lot of things. She went out and she did a lot of speeches. She did a couple of speeches in Buffalo and throughout the state of New York, pretty much advocating the same thing Cuomo was talking about. So. A lot of people, I saw a couple posts on Facebook thinking that New York was going to get a little pass, but there's no pass in New York's future with, God, I went blank. Kathy Hook. How do you say her last name, Tim?
Spell it.
Hooky. Hochul.
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 I have no idea, but the New York lieutenant governor touched me inappropriately, and I would like her to resign.
Her too?
Yes.
Oh, wow. It's already started.
Hold on.
And by the way, from Australia, good riddance to
Good
Cuomo.
riddance.
Bye-bye.
Good
Right.
riddance.
Yeah, nobody.
I have one thing to say about that. So what?
So what? Who cares? Who cares? Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people forgot who she was. She was, Cuomo didn't let her do a lot of things or take the limelight from him a lot, which he should have. I think he should have. But we're not getting a free pass. People in New York thinking that there's going to be some changes to their legislation on vaping. There's not. If anything, she's going to be a lot more stricter and harder because she's going to try to prove a point to win that seat again next term. Which I don't know how long. How long was he in there now? Did he just renew his term?
I don't follow the dickhead.
Yeah,
so.
I don't remember. I don't remember if he just got back in or
Aren't there terms every 4 years?
every 4 years, but I can't remember if he was reelected or I'd have to look and see. But is that? I don't know how that works. Is she just stepping in as governor until there's an election?
I believe so.
She'll have to go up. Yeah, she'll have to, go up around election time like everybody else. So she's technically sort of like his replacement / interim.
Right.
And then she'll have to go up against, she'll have to stand up on the block and win that seat back.
Yeah. All right. Hey, guys, talk amongst yourself. I got to help somebody real quick, and I'll be right back.
Okay.
Well,
so, yeah.
fuck off, John.
Yeah. Well, but see, I have not. I only caught wind of Cuomo having to step down with a couple little blurbs that popped up. I just saw people saying like, "See ya, Cuomo," and all that other stuff. But I didn't know anything about this woman, so it's all news to me. If anyone knows anything about this lady, speak up because I don't know squat about her.
She'd said a number of things in the past when she was given the opportunity to talk. She's very much cut from the same cloth as Cuomo, but she has a few other ideas. And I don't know who's giving her science, but they need to go back to school because it's not science. It's all just bullshit and propaganda.
Right.
I actually think she could be drinking buddies with Erin Mills from Truth and those guys and Tobacco Free Kids, because they're all in everyone's back pocket over there. And New York, everyone thought that they were going to get a little bit of a pass, but no. I think she's quite a lot more evil than what Cuomo could be, to tell you the truth. That she'll go in harder and try and cut whatever's left of the industry out of New York completely.
So
simple as that.
She'll. Well, I thought they were on a total ban altogether.
They are, but look, where there's a will, there's a way in New York, and this community, we're resourceful. We've got friends that will help from all over the world. I've got friends on the West Coast that were sending care packages to guys in New York because shit couldn't get through. And then when you started messing with the postage system, things like that. But New York's a key component, because if you lose the West Coast, the East Coast, like two major cities, and then you lose somewhere big in the center, then it just spreads like a virus.
Yeah,
Right.
like
If
LA,
you like
New
from
York,
flavor
and
bands,
Chicago.
yeah, either Chicago or actually I'd say Ohio. Ohio's got some pretty big liquid manufacturers.
Yeah.
So you shut that down or tax the crap out of it, or do a flavor ban there, and you've got bang, 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 and you're done pretty much. And it'll just keep spreading and spreading.
Yeah. That's just unfortunate. I don't know. I mean,
So does she say harder with a Boston accent? No idea, but anything that she said, and people have been tearing this new governor apart on Twitter. They don't like her. We're trying to find more dirt on her. But Cuomo, he obviously went to the school of touchy-feely that Glantz went to.
Yeah.
You know, they all must go to this same touchy-feely school.
They
Yeah.
must.
You know, it must be something that they teach at university. But well, I'm just saying. But that's what's happening, and that's what I'm seeing happen. You know, and this is from someone on the other side of the world. We're just watching everything implode, left, right, and center. It doesn't matter which industry.
I've long held the belief that people outside of the U.S. are watching what the U.S. does, and 9 times out of 10 pointing, laughing, going, "What the fuck?"
No, not really, because like having lived there for a while and seeing both sides and living in different parts or traveling to different parts of the world, it is a little bit crazy. But if you look at Australia and the laws, it's draconian, completely different.
True.
The US, you're still allowed to have a sidearm. We're not.
Mm-hmm.
Big difference.
Mm-hmm.
So no, we look at it from a different perspective. But understanding what's going on in the US is one thing, but yeah, I'm just looking at the world on a whole right now. No, it's pretty grim.
Yeah, it's not looking good. Sorry about that. I don't get to see this one particular grandson that much, so when he does come over, I have to stop and give him my no kiss. You got
That
like-
just sounds, in light of what we were just talking about, that sounds way bad, John.
why? Giving my grandson a kiss?
The way you said it.
No.
Yes.
That's Italian for
I
nonna.
understand that's
No,
Italian
yeah.
for grandfather.
we're not Italian. We don't know. We
However-
don't know these things.
Well, get
Hearing the word-
educated.
No. However, hearing no kiss, you kind of...
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Here we go.
there we go. Do I have to pull up the rated R symbol for this show now?
No.
Probably.
Probably. I mean, I am back. I've been gone for a little while. I've missed you fellas.
Yeah, let's get back to it. I wanted to throw out a couple names. I probably don't have all of them because the list is really long. But if you know any of that in chat that I don't name, put it in there. PAVE, Tobacco Free California, the American Cancer Society, Cancer Action Network, betobaccofree.gov. This one's new to me. I didn't know they were part of it, but UCSF, Center for Tobacco Control Research and Education. I didn't know they had a thing. I know they did some tests for them, but I didn't know they had their own organization.
They're all getting funded by Bloomberg.
They are
so,
getting funded. Yeah, the National Network for Tobacco Control and Prevention, the
Good
American Lung Association, the big one, the World Lung Federation,
Yeah.
the Legacy Federation, Americas for Non-Smoking Rights. Did I miss any?
Campaign for tobacco-free kids.
Yeah, campaign for tobacco-free kids.
World Health Organization.
Yeah, that's the dragon head right
That's
there.
the dragon head.
Yeah.
Any that I missed from Australia there? You want to throw some of those big names out that we should all hate?
Oh, okay. CCA, Cancer Council Australia. We've got Australian Lung. We've got who else have we got? We've got similar organisation of PAVE, but they've got no legs here in Australia.
Yeah.
We've got the TGA that we don't like the TGA at all here because they don't understand. They don't want to speak to the industry in any way, shape, or form. Who else do we hate here? We hate our health minister, Greg Hunt, because he's actually a lawyer. He's not a doctor. We hate him. So he's up there on the list. Our prime minister, we hate him too because he's a dickhead and he keeps going on holidays whenever something happens. No, there's lots of people that we can hate, but WHO needs to be defunded and completely rebuilt from the ground up. I'm sorry. FCTC needs to be dealt with. That was never written. Oh, sorry, it's been misinterpreted as to how it was originally written and to what it was there for. It's there as harm reduction, not ban everything around the world.
Right.
That's how it works. Sorry.
Yeah, well, I think somebody got in their back pocket too, right? Because it's easy to change the narrative once the money's coming in. Yeah.
Oh, look, and we're now finding Bloomberg's had his hands in what was going on here in Australia, and also speaking via a think tank to have that type of policy pushed the other way. Right. It's everywhere, and quite openly. If you have a look at COP9, and it looks like it was written by Bloomberg. Yeah, they've completely removed the section on vaping. They don't want to talk about ENDS products in that conference, and they want to move it to 2023. So everyone's left out in La La Land. And my understanding or my thinking is that they want to do that. They're clearing the way so that FDA can make their decisions and other governments around the world can make decisions as well. And go, well, we're just going to shut all this part of the industry down. You can have pods, you can have half a dozen flavors, and bada bing, thanks for coming. All right. And create the world's biggest black market. Simple.
That's what I can see makes happening. No sense to me. I you know what I mean. They work under the guise that they're saving and protecting people because of this evil thing that showed up on the marketplace called vaping, which is so horrible and horrific for you. Yet you're gonna take it away in the name of protection. Yet you're gonna drive everyone to a black market situation where I'm not saying there aren't safe elements of the black market, but there's going to be a lot of people thrust into that situation who want to continue vaping because they understand that it has benefits, and they're not going to have a lot of the same connections and a lot of the, it's who you, it's not, it's who you know, and they're going to get stuck buying some shit that's going to cause them way more harm than anything would have ever caused them in a normal, safe laboratory, semi-regulated situation. And that part just screams to me that the government and the people that have any agenda in enacting these policies and bans and regulations, that they have not one single care or they have zero fucks to give about you and your well-being, because they're basically going to put you in a situation to make it more dangerous for yourself than it would had they just left things alone and tried to regulate it sensibly. And that part just blows my mind. And if anybody doesn't catch on to that they're okay with a tremendously huge unsafe black market, but they're not okay with the thing that's safe.
And see,
I don't get it.
The problem is, Tim, we say stuff like that almost every week, and we're pretty much yelling it into an echo chamber because that's who our viewers are. Not knocking our viewers at all and everything, but our message isn't getting past us, and it needs to.
Well, I agree with you there. Go ahead, Paul.
It's okay. That's also a hard part. And you put out information and you put out studies that have been debunked. All right? That's one thing. Look at certain countries. Take us, for example. They actually geo-block information here. The government does. And if you don't know what you're doing with VPNs and how to get around DNS settings in your routers, you're going to lose a lot of information and news that's coming out from around the world.
Right.
That's part of it. You have governments that are being given huge amounts of money by Bloomberg for his narrative, but we're only giving. Yeah, Chapman's one. We're dealing with him right now. He's an idiot and he's just a blowhard.
Yeah,
I'm over Chapman. The money that Bloomberg, the Gates Foundation, and the Robert Johnson Foundation, or whatever it's called, they're all giving equivalent money to governments around the world to stop what the hell's going on. They want to control the narrative.
Mm-hmm.
We're like this troubled little stepchild that's come into the world. We've made all this racket. We know that the science is solid now, yet they want to play whack-a-mole with us. Just keep whacking us on the head. It doesn't matter what we do and how we do it. We just have to get louder and louder and louder. If you're in a country where you have bans, go, I'm saying a little bit of disobedience is quite fun, right? Keep vaping.
Yeah.
Right? Keep vaping. Help your friends that don't know how to make liquids. If you got old equipment, give it to them. Just keep it going. If you get fined, put it up on social media. The vaping community, no doubt, will help you out from around the world.
Yeah.
Here, when October 1 comes around, our prescription model rolls out, there's a handful of vendors I know now that are willing to just throw the doors open and just start selling everything that's with nicotine in, and be done with what the government tells us to do. And the whole of Australia, 520,000 vapors all have to get a prescription now. It's all about the money. Everywhere you look at around the world, money, money, money. Canada, their flavour bans and nick caps and stupidity.
right.
It's so hard. You wake up every single day and there's something else new that we have to deal with.
Yeah.
You're going to have to whack someone else over the head with a baseball bat. It's hard. It's ever so hard.
I think it's tough because we're overwhelmed. I mean, there's more of them than there is of us, and they come from all different angles and trajectories, and so it's like you're fending something off, and you're distracted and fighting this fight over there, and then somebody's pulling some bullshit over there, so it gets hard.
Yeah, they're so well funded. That's the other problem. It's hard for any of us. I mean, even for this industry in a whole. I mean, I think even if they were to put all their money together, it still wouldn't equal the fight that the money that they have coming to them every single day.
If every vaping organization pooled their resources and their cash, I don't even think it would equal 1% of the cash that they're throwing out at us to try and stop us.
The only way you can stop them is to get people to stop buying a pack of cigarettes.
Yup.
That's the truth, because that's their
and
money.
That's easier said than done.
Yeah, that's their money. Their money's coming from a lot of their money is coming from taxes that are on cigarettes that the states. So it makes it really hard. It makes it hard. And it just seems like every time I look, it's like Paul was saying, every time I look, it seems like it's somebody new that we're fighting, or somebody just now is jumping on the bandwagon. Some new mayor's deciding that he wants to go after vaping himself. And it's a battle that I don't know. I think I'm starting to see our community starting to kind of hold back a little bit. And I think those numbers are showing, I don't think that the vape review numbers are justified just because of products. I think people in general that vape are getting tired. And even if it's just to watch a video on a new product, I think they're just burned out on the whole thing with everything. It just seems like we never seem to have. How long would you say it's been since we've had like one step forward?
2019? 2018?
Probably.
It's been a long while. Like, we really have not had any significant wins.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, even the little wins aren't counting as little wins because within, a month or two down the road, it gets wiped out because,
Yeah.
they do a recount or they have a new meeting and they got new evidence. And it just seems like to me that I'm starting to really see it, not just in the YouTube channel, but in groups, vaping groups and other outlets, Instagram, and some of the other social media thing. Just people are getting kind of turned away, and they're vapors that are getting turned away. And I mean, I don't know what else to say about that. I mean, what do you guys think? Do you think it's affecting what's happening in social media as well?
Well, well, of course. I mean, anytime the fight gets tougher, or it feels like we lose another thing, I think more people kind of fall off the bandwagon with that fight mentality because they just sort of feel thwarted, and it's like They're like, why am I going to continue to do this? Because every little ounce that I give either falls on deaf ears or they get their way anyway, and it's all that. And to Rog, when John meant a step forward, I don't think he necessarily was putting in the context of like, okay, we're overcoming and we're winning the war and we're going to get it all back. I think a lot of us kind of saw like little wins as some potential or possibility. Like for me, going back on everything when it really started to kind of become very visible was not so much from the federal perspective. I mean, that kind of was already in the pipeline for some time, so we were just kind of waiting around to see what was going to happen. We knew PMTAs were coming. We knew that the deeming rule was already in place, with potential for other negative stuff to happen. But I remember specifically there was a video that popped up on Facebook one day. I don't remember who this person was. They were someone that was in the vaping community, and there was a community. It was a county here in Georgia that was trying to pass a vape ban. They were in the county. All right, like it really would have mattered because people would have just driven to the next county over and got whatever they wanted anyway. It wouldn't have really mattered, I think, in the grander scheme of things. But they did go to the table with these legislators, and they had a open conversation to where they actually tabled the legislation they were trying to pass to get a ban to go into effect, that they were willing to sit with the vaping community and hear what they had to say in terms of businesses being impacted or individuals' health being impacted. They were willing to sit and listen. And so when I saw that they were able to get them to table that particular legislation, that was a win, because you got the people who were heavy-handed to kind of take a step back and be a little bit more open-minded about it. So in some ways that was a step forward, but we've taken 100 steps back since then. I mean, of course, like we've not been able to permeate the federal government. We've not been able to really change minds. Yes, we had the rally in DC, and that maybe put things on pause for a while. You know, I mean, if you want to call that a win, I mean, I think at that point, what the vaping community was staring down the double barrels of basically having almost everything taken away at that moment in time. But because of that, the showing of support for vaping and maybe that we vape, we vote mantra played a part in that. You know, at that time, Trump backed off. He didn't want to deal with that shit anymore. Yeah. He's like, what did I just walk into? And so to me, those were little wins. Yeah. But even those little wins ended up kind of reversing themselves in one way, shape, or another.
Yeah, I mean, the only real little win like my state had was California. So, and that's they just pushed it back. That's all they did. It's just buying themselves some more time. They put a stop to it. That's what it seems like every time we do get a step forward. It really isn't closure. It's always, we're going to go ahead and push this vote till 2022, 2023, and just hoping that, you know, whatever support they were having at that time goes away. And that's the sad part of it, you know. And you know, but like you said, we get one step forward and then it's like, you know,
we get knocked like 15 back.
Yeah.
Well,
Go ahead.
There's
Paul.
one other way that you can actually mess around with a lot of the senators in the US, right? They all like donations. And a lot of their donations come from companies that we use their goods and equipment and services from.
Yeah.
Start messing around with the companies. So, well, you're backing this, we won't back you. Oh, we've got no money for you anymore.
Yeah,
We've got no money for this senator anymore. We'll just,
Yeah, boycotts can sometimes work and sometimes can slap you in the face. So
correct.
I mean,
But you pick the ones, the specific ones that will do the most damage.
Yeah.
And you do a boycott for a little while. And you get no funding this time round.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little grumbly.
Sneaky little fuckers.
Yeah, go to all the convenience store and tell them that you're going to stand out in front of their stores and tell the people not to buy cigarettes there.
Oh, look, anything that we can do to disrupt what the government wants to do, I think it's a good thing.
Yeah. We've talked about boycotts, and it's just kind of hard. Who do you boycott in the vaping? I mean,
true. Point taken.
It's tough. It's kind of hard. Who do you pick on? You can't pick on the tobacco companies because for a lot of reasons they've kind of saved it in certain areas from being taken away. So it's kind of hard to say, hey, RJ Reynolds, we're gonna. I don't know. How do you even boycott a cigarette company?
Well, you know what? I don't know that it's coming down to boycotts, but I got to imagine that somewhere in all of this, that the humongous, tobacco companies like Philip Morris and Altria and all, they got to be pissed off right now with all of these the new attack on the menthol bans. I mean, that's a big portion of their business. DC's already fallen. I'm sure there's probably going to be a bunch that are going to come down the line here pretty soon of cities that are seeing, because what does it take? One, and then the snowball starts rolling. So I got to imagine that the tobacco companies are not thrilled with that attack on their particular industry, because that's kind of like the adverse of what they kind of would, because they're the ones pumping the money into the government talking heads anyway. They're the ones keeping their business afloat by buying off all these politicians. Yet these local municipalities are going to go ahead and do menthol bans, in the name of how it's targeted, communities of color adversely and all this other stuff. But I mean, that's huge sales that these tobacco companies are going to lose. I mean, I just can't imagine that they're going to sit and go quietly on that one.
What kind? I mean, technically, what kind of pools do you have over there to do, Paul? I mean, as far as who can you technically fight there?
They've made it. They've made it such a way here in Australia with the TGA and the health department, and who they've taken their advice from, and even considering this prescription model, it's going to be an absolute joke. Absolute joke.
Yeah.
There's, I put something through to Tim earlier. It was only just released today of new rules and sections of what can and what will happen here in Australia, and the rules come October 1. We've tried going at the government. Didn't work. We've tried FOI's, freedom of information. They've blocked it. One of them, right, it was to do with tobacco or nicotine. Oh, sorry, that's national security. Since when did nicotine become national security? Really? Come on.
Yeah.
Wake up.
You said
they've only opened the door to a handful of people here.
Well, you said something, Freedom of Information Act. I mean, you guys have something sort of like that there. It's none of your business if I'm buying a pack of cigarettes, and it shouldn't be any of your business if I'm buying nicotine. I mean, I don't get how they're getting away with that not being part of that Freedom of Information Act. Because that's none of your business.
Yeah, I do understand, but we can't even get consultation with the TGA. Okay? Now, when this prescription model comes in, because I develop liquids, do I have to go to my doctor every month because I go through half a litre or a litre of nicotine because I'm developing?
Yeah.
But how's this going to work? They haven't consulted with industry at all. They've given us a list of 8 chemicals that we're not allowed to have, and I just laughed. I said, we haven't used these 8 chemicals now in the last 4 years in manufacturing. So everything is so dated. We've tried lobbying the government. That didn't work. We've tried protesting the government. That didn't work. We've had Senate inquiries. That was only a smokescreen, and it was done, and everything in the background had already been pretty much signed off on. And then we go from Schedule 7 nicotine, which is in the same classification as heroin. We have that reclassified up to a Schedule 4, which is prescription only, an S4 classification. So it's still a poison. We want it as S3. S3 is consumer, the same as patches and all like NRTs. They don't see it that way. And then we've got another senator here in Australia privately saying, and little bits on Twitter here and there, that he would like vaping to be taxed at exactly the same rate as smoking here in Australia. And I went, right. So here we go.
Yeah, that's crazy.
A 60 ml bottle of liquid, I wouldn't even want to go there.
Yeah.
Right.
You'd be looking at $75-$80 for a 60 ml bottle of liquid under their scheme.
Wow.
How? And we're seeing now the disposable market blow up here, right? Absolutely blow up. You see kids walking around with disposables in certain areas. Again, lower socioeconomic areas. Not all the rich kids. They're selling them at schools. Sure, and we know how they're getting them now. In here, we've tried absolutely everything, all the way to lobbying the government. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, they don't have a clue.
They don't.
It's mind-blowing. Yeah, well, S4,
You get 100 milligram patch, yeah.
Correct.
100?
It's,
They have 100
the highest milligram patch that you can get, and it's actually on prescription here, is 36 milligram patches. There used to be a 48 milligram patch here, but people were finding it was burning them all over wherever the hell they put it. It was burning.
I was gonna say it's got to be burning the shit out of their skin.
We're not allowed snus. We're not allowed any of this. Yeah, again, that's my biggest headache with disposables, right?
Hey guys, I gotta head out. I'll see you.
All right, Tom. I mean, who's to say that they're not going to sell that information to other companies that you're buying nicotine, to insurance companies, to fucking your car insurance, health insurance? I mean,
right.
That's
The other problem that I have is there's no clarity as to where these pharmacies will be getting their nicotine from, right? Yeah. That's for a start. We do not know the grade of nicotine that they'll be bringing in, right?
Right.
What we bring something in, it's just on use by date. It looks like shit. It doesn't look like that crystal clear.
Right.
Right. It's probably also going to be a friend of the government.
Oh, but then
kickback.
Also, okay, but then can we please see the SDS sheets on it and mass spec data? Really? You think they're going to hand that over? No. What else are they hiding?
Are they
putting in the same?
Yeah. Are they going to contract the nicotine supplier? That's what they're supposed to do, right?
Yeah, well,
they're supposed to contract a nicotine supplier.
But there is a little section there, like it's this little shield that you can't find out who's on this list.
Oh, no. No.
Come on.
That's just...
man. Everything. We have tried absolutely everything here in Australia. I've been in the fight since 2014.
Yeah. Now, would you rather have nicotine coming in from the U.S. or China?
Okay. before you say anything
Right.
about China and what they're doing nicotine-wise,
Yeah.
one of the oldest concentrate manufacturers that we all used to use,
Yeah.
being Hang Seng and Dekang, both out of China. They were the original ones that everyone was using back in the day. Hang Seng now has Hang Seng Biotech, which it's a whole new division. They've put through, and they actually have patents now on all the flavors that they've put forward. They're moving into, that's a little bit different, Liana. Caliburn, that's different. It's still the device.
Yeah.
Nail polish. Who's using them? There's another way. We can fix that one. There's other ways to do that. Go to Kmart if you're in Australia. They've got them there on the shelf for $7 a piece. I would rather get nicotine from probably 4 different suppliers that I know, and I've used their nicotine for the last X amount of years. I've tried just about every form of nicotine on this planet, pretty much.
Yeah.
And I will say there is a Chinese company that does make a form of salt nic, is one of the cleanest I have tried.
Oh, wow.
Except for one that has come out of Poland. They're the two. They'd be the two that I would put against each other. I've tried some great synthetic nicotine out of the United States, and also some great synthetic nicotine out of the UK.
UK.
But I would still look at.
They aren't going to look for the best. They're going to look for the cheapest.
Well, I'd look at Switzerland, Poland, United States, and in a pinch, yes, I would use China, but I would only use specific products coming out of China.
Yeah, but your government, they're going to just look for whoever's the cheapest and whoever's going to give them the best deal.
And we know who that's going to be.
Right. You guys have a general idea who it's going to be.
Yeah, J&J.
J&J, which is owned by who?
Johnson & Johnson.
Johnson & Johnson. Oh,
it'll come through the NRT program. It'll come backdoor that way. That's how they'll do it. And it'll be shit. Yeah. Next minute, you'll have Nick caps on it. It'll be peppery. It'll taste like ass. No. No.
I don't know if I want ass taste of nicotine. Yeah, I know what you're saying. I don't have a Kmart. I haven't seen one in 20 years myself. So
yeah, I don't know when the last time was I saw one.
We've got them everywhere here in Australia. Yeah,
what?
we still have Kmart. Yeah, look, we're 20 years behind everyone. We still drive on the wrong hand side of the road. We swear at everyone. We burp and fart when we talk to like the phone company. So yeah, it's not a problem.
Is it still owned by Sears out there in Australia? Is it still a Sears company?
I don't know. Yeah, American.
Yeah, Sears bought them out. I think Walmart pretty much ran them out of town.
Yeah, Walmart pretty much ran.
They were the king, queen.
That's what we need to get to back us up. We need to get one of the Walmarts to jump on to vaping and start supporting the vaping community. Walmart's strong enough to say, fuck everybody. We want vaping in our stores. We're done. This is better for people. It's going to help. We'll make sure that children don't get it, but we want it back in our stores.
It just blows my mind that like the UK is the one pariah out of everyone.
Yeah.
They're the one that the government, other than what, maybe less than a year ago, there was kind of a threat of some bad shit that was going to go down in the UK. But beyond that, they've been pretty much A1 positive, move forward, put vape shops inside hospitals, have vape clinics inside vape stores, all of their scientific data, which is, reliable and trustworthy, all, counters all of the anti-propaganda and rhetoric that you read. They're the one pariah that, other than the methodology for how you have to go ahead and get your e-liquid and put your nicotine in it and all that other stuff, TPD and all that other bullshit. They're the one pariah that is, they're pretty much left alone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The rest of us are
TP
all complete. Go ahead.
No, TPD, except for the tank sizes and restrictions on like nicotine levels and
Bottle sizes,
actual
right?
bottle sizes, right? It's rather stupid, okay? Because a lot of people in the UK, because they're like short fills or one shots, they're used to it. Australia, we've had to DIY since the get go, right?
Yeah.
So that's not a problem. But I will say TPD in liquid manufacturing and the stripping out of all the bullshit chemicals, I'll 100% agree with what they did. That was the best move ever. And all of the countries around the world, and then concentrate manufacturers went in and said, right, well, there's everything, we have to strip it out. We have to have documentation like data sheets and mass spec data to back up everything that we're putting forward. And then you have concentrate manufacturers now for inhalation only, where they've even modified the concentrate. It's not used for anything else bar for liquid manufacturing. Simple. No, I agree with some of what TPD's done, but not all of it.
Yeah. I mean, how high was their smoking rate there? Where did they rank in the UK prior to vaping? Were they ranked pretty high?
Yeah, you've got to look at the demographic in the UK.
Yeah.
A lot of lower socioeconomic areas and villages and things like that. A lot of where industry had left, like mining and things like that, and heavy industry, that all became like really heavily like congealed with smokers and things like that. And then you had other regions, sure, it was up there, but it wasn't in the top 10.
It wasn't
but it
in
was
the,
up there.
Worldwide.
But I think it was 15. I think their smoking rate at one stage was like 14.8 or 15.8% until vaping really took a hold. And I think it's down around or below the 10% mark now, which is the magic number. But
yeah, they have 6.9 million adults.
Yeah,
there are about 6.9 million adults smoking cigarettes in the UK.
Yeah,
production.
It's a fair whack.
It says the population who have never smoked has increased by 37.4% since 1974 to 60.4 to 2019. So vaping's done something. For it to be at 37.4 in 1974 that have never touched a cigarette to 60.4, vaping had a little bit of a difference there. And because I don't think they were ever in the top. So because basically that would just mean if you're in the top 10, you're basically, the tobacco industry has had a hold on your community, your country for quite some time.
Russia, India, China, Poland, like all of the Eastern Bloc, ultra heavy smokers.
Yeah.
Asia, heavy smokers. Japan was very heavy, and the IQOS and vaping in Japan cut the smoking rate in half literally within 18 months.
Ooh. Oh.
It was just like bang, thanks to that. And Japan is a really cool place to visit, and everything's clean. You don't see shit all over the place.
Yeah.
And that's the difference. And that's why I don't like, I'll use a disposable if I have to, but I don't like them.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. I was trying to see if where they ranked now, but I think that's all their stats that I have for them. It's just funny. It's just like Tim's saying. It just doesn't make any sense for how they just adapted. And now that I look back at the small little things that they have to go through, there's nothing. I accept everything that they're going through just for it to stop here in the U.S. If it means I can only have a 2 millimeter tank, if it means I can only buy 30 ml bottles, if it means I can only get 35 or 25, what is their max? 25 or 35?
Where in the UK?
In the UK,
20.
20. I could live with 20. I could live with 20.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would accept all those things just for everybody to shut the fuck up and leave us alone. I would wouldn't you, Tim?
Well, yeah, and that's the question that we ask quite often when we've talked about people and their journey. We ask that pop question at the end where we say, like, if there was one thing you could get rid of or do away with related to vaping that would save the industry and let it progress forward, what would that thing be? And there's all kinds of different answers, but I mean, in the grander scheme of what the UK has had to go through, they have not had it taken away from them. They've had modifications and regulations that not everybody might be happy with.
Yeah.
But the fact is, people were like, okay, yeah, if that'll shut you up and I can continue to move forward with my harm reduction plan and my cessation method, then fine. Then I'll live with that. I'll figure out a way to make it work.
I wish it would. But do you think if the whole industry in the whole here in the U.S. just said, okay, you know what? Let's get together. This is our deal. What you got in the UK, we're willing to accept that. Just leave us alone. If they were to push that through, would it make a significant difference? If the whole industry as a whole here, every one of the distributors, every one of the labs who just said, hey, look, this is what we're willing to deal with. This is what the UK is dealing with. We'll accept that. Just leave us alone.
Okay, for the most part, yes, but you've still got smaller liquid manufacturers using concentrates that shouldn't be used anymore.
Right.
They would have to be re-educated,
Yeah.
right? You would then need a single standard for the labs across the United States,
Right.
like an ISO certification, and then.
Well, as a user, I would be happy with that.
Yeah,
At least,
that's fine.
Yeah.
But I don't agree with 2 mil restrictions.
Yeah.
Right. That I don't agree with, and I don't agree with bottle sizes. I'm sorry, but if you're a truck driver and you're hauling ass between East Coast and West Coast, and you got 30 mils, oh shit, I'm out.
Yeah.
My shop's all the way on the other side.
Yeah.
You don't know. There's certain situations where it will never work.
Yeah.
I would love to see vaping in hospitals in the United States. That will never fucking happen.
Yeah.
Never. Yeah. But we're lucky to have it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I mean, that's kind of like what I said all along, though. Is I mean, as much as I don't want to see it go to those particular extremes, I've just somewhere felt in the mix of it all that we would have to be willing to make some concessions somewhere. Even with the argument overall that it's tobacco harm reduction and everyone requires a different type of treatment or application in order to help them to quit. That I totally understand that. Like, even if people want to argue the 50 milligram nic levels, now, why? Well, where it doesn't impact me if I don't have it. But there might be that person that they need that 50 when they first get started to, getting off of it, that they'll need it for a while. Okay, not eternally to get them to quit.
I'm just
But I've always felt like some concessions had to be made, and I feel like where you hear people say, okay, yeah, we had to put up with a bunch of bullshit, but we're lucky to still have it, even though, we had to accept these particular concessions because that's the only option that we had. Here, I feel like in the United States, it's all or nothing.
Yeah.
It's either we want it all, and then the government goes, no, fuck you, we're going to take that away and that away. Oh, and by the way, we're going to go ahead and take that too.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's what you get left with.
Yeah. Someone said to me a while back, and this actually had to do with the PMTA and hardware, right? And then I thought about this for a minute. Everything that we use is a common 510 thread, correct? Mm-hmm. But if you were to change your thread to a proprietary thread per company, right, that would then pass PMTA because it's unique. It's not an open. Yeah, well, it's a unique item, right? Yeehee was on when they did these little things. This thing's one of the little tiny auto squonks, right? This actually had a different 510 connection. You couldn't put anything on this. It was their own proprietary little, like single coil, like trippers for their squonk. This would make it through because they can then track the components for that device.
Right.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
See, there's little ways and means that you can get around it. You've just got to think outside the square. Yeah. And a couple of different people have said this to me that could actually work. And I thought to myself, well, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
It's proprietary, and you could track it. Traceability is one of the.
But they can basically trace every single device that's out there right now that most of us are using. I mean, everything. Well, you really. How many major companies are left?
Okay, major companies. So be it. What about all the mech squonks and stuff that are milled up in CNC shops around the world?
Yeah,
right.
That's different. Yeah.
There's no. Yeah. They're all using the same components. Yeah, mechs. You can't. Doesn't work that way. If it's proprietary, it would be a little bit different because then it's traceability.
But then you'd be tearing away the heritage of vaping. They started with these. This is how it started.
Correct. Yeah, and squonking and mechs and like little parallel boxes and things like that. More power. I remember all that.
Fuck you, Daniel.
Here we go.
Yeah, give that about another month when all the COVID shit hits the fan again. You're going to be selling 60 ml bottles of hand sanitizer for $300.
Yeah. Some asshole would just go and buy up all of the supply and put it in his garage.
Yeah.
And then you won't know what to do with it, like the one knucklehead did last time this shit happened.
And then you have the asshole recording the asshole taking the stuff in his truck from Costco.
The hoarders are on their way. Don't worry.
Why are you recording me? Because you're an asshole.
Yeah. Well, it's just a shame because the thing is that I completely understand the argument where people aren't willing to concede anything. But I feel like sometimes, when you're your back's against the wall, if making some tough concessions, wouldn't be worth it. At least you'd be left with something that's viable instead of going to the trunk of a car somewhere or some seedy guy in an apartment, you don't know where he fucking got this or got that.
Well, I was thinking maybe we'll do that on the Wednesday Night Live Facebook group page. Have Brian come up with a docket, some sort of where everybody would input their information, what they would be acceptable, like to save vaping, and have the TPT standard on there, and then would you be happy if we could buy 60 ml bottles only, nothing higher, something like that. Maybe Brian can put something together and then have some kind of a sheet for next week to just kind of get a general idea what people are willing to give up here in the
it's
US.
A valid question. I mean, throw out the argument that you can't take anything away because it's all about tobacco harm reduction.
Right.
That is a completely valid argument, but the question we're asking is a specific one. If today you made some tough decisions and you could you could say, fine, I'm okay with that part going away. Like, if I can't get 50 anymore and the most I could ever get again is 24.
Yeah.
Would you be willing to accept that if they said, okay, fine, then we'll leave you alone? 24, that's it. Nothing more than 24. And every time we ask the question, you always get somebody who goes, well, I can't really say yes to that either because somebody might need more than that in order to get off of smoking. Okay, yeah, you're right. Everything's true with what you say. But the point is, this isn't about what you can fight for that you're probably going to lose anyway.
Right.
This is about accepting something so that we can move forward. Yeah.
For the whole. Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to do
Daniel,
that.
forever. Do you think the UK is going to get up to 4 mil tanks or... You know,
Well, to
steam
me,
craze.
to me, if we were to come up with something like that and buys us some time for down the road for future studies, and then if future studies come back, then you can work in that. Okay, this is found we found to be okay to have, so we're going to go ahead and give you 100 ml bottles. You know what I'm saying? At least
Right.
gives us something to work with until 10 years down the road, 5 years down the road, who knows how, when the studies come back. And, they always say there's not enough studies. There's not enough information on vaping yet to decide whether this is going to be harmful to us or not. So at least having, and no, I saw that word taxes and it kind of drew me off, but no, don't tax the fucking, we're willing to give up these things, but don't tax it to where I have to decide whether I feed my family this week or not, or buy a bottle of e-juice.
Right, but that's the biggest dagger of them all, and that's when Paul brought it up.
Yeah.
That there's that one legislator, senator dickhead, who thinks that if you go ahead and tax vaping equally to that of smoking, that for him that's okay. Well, that goes against everything tobacco harm reduction 101. If you're going to put something out on the market that's going to help somebody to quit, you can't tax it the same.
Right.
You can't out tax the harm reduction. You can't overtax the harm reduction method, because then you're going to leave people in that void where they have a choice to make. They're like, well, if I'm going to end up spending more to vape, then I'll just continue smoking because that ends up becoming cheaper. So you haven't solved one problem, when it comes to the methodology of thinking about taxing stuff. You'll never get people to buy in if you're going to tax it that strict.
Squonk still classifies as an open device, though. It may not be classified as a tank, but it's still classified as a open device, whatever the new term is for it.
What, an open system?
Open system, yeah. It still qualifies as an open system. It may not be considered a tank, but it's still considered.
That's my whole point, Daniel. Yeah. If they're going to tax shit at 70%, you basically made it more expensive than going and buying a pack of smokes at your local fucking QT or 7-Eleven. I mean, people are gonna, especially in the era that we're in now with the COVID era and lockdowns happening and businesses closing and people out of work and living off of the government, to go ahead and get by. People have to rebudget, and some people may be like, fuck it, I can't afford the vaping anymore, but cigarettes affordable, so I'll just go back to smoking. And then it's all defeated. It's all defeated. You
can squonk in it. What do they consider the squonking in England? Is it still?
No, because it's not a tank as such. It's a bladder, just like a fountain pen. It's a.
I know they have a term for it. I heard it before.
It's like a bladder. That's what I call it, and it works the same concept as a fountain pen.
Yeah,
you draw liquid into it, and then you push liquid out of it.
Yeah,
simple. So but
Daniel, squawking's never going to die, but it's not what it used to be. It's not.
No. And to Luke's point, you're right. Like I think there isn't a soul in the chat or in this panel right now that would openly agree that they want to go back to smoking again.
No.
We have a lot more resources at our disposal too, and we'll find ways to get around it in most cases, no matter what happens. But the point is, you've got way too many people who, within the last year to a couple years, finally found vaping, and that's starting to become their success story, and they just don't have the same avenues that we'll have, or the connections, or the resources that we'll have access to find stuff when we need it, and they're just going to be SOL.
Yeah,
legit.
That is their whole purpose, and they went after those people. They know we are going to either quit vaping, not go back to smoking, or we have our ways of getting what we need. They're not worried about us. They're worried about the new customer and making.
I'm going into cake making.
Yeah, there you go. Vape cakes. You take a bite and just
Yeah. Well, hey, it's the same shit.
That's their goals. Their goal is not so much to attack us, but to make sure they limit as many new customers as possible, making it as more and more difficult for that newer smoker to quit.
Right.
And by going after shipping and receiving shipping costs or shops and all this other nonsense, that's their way of getting around it, because the guy that lives in rural America isn't going to have a vape shop 2 blocks away from his house. He's getting his stuff in through the mail. He's getting it from whatever source he's pulling from online, but he doesn't have, there's lots of people that are hours away from vape shops, hours.
Yeah. Well, there's chatter now here that they're also talking about shipping, like reducing shipping type ideas. We already have one state, South Australia, you're not meant to ship in and out of South Australia. That was stupidity. And then the fines, like attaching fines to something that's saving your life is stupid for a start.
You guys have some serious motherfucking fines there. You guys don't mess around. I'm sorry. I mean, fuck, half the shit that we get away with here and we're slapped with a $30 fine would be the equivalent of a thousands of dollar fine for you guys.
Well, what's a $30 fine for you, and I'll give you an equivalent?
What would you get? What would it be a fine for pissing in public?
Oh, that can be up to 3 months in jail. It is public indecency and urination on
hazardous material.
If you're gonna fucking do it, you're gonna do that somewhere good. Make sure you're on camera.
Well,
and you're drunk because you can get off. Diminish responsibility.
Yeah. Well,
what a lot of people don't know about Australia too, only because I learned firsthand, is you can't be drunk in the pubs either. They'll throw you the fuck out if you're even rumbling, stumbling, fumbling the least little bit. They're watching your ass.
Yeah.
RSA. It's called a responsible service of alcohol, and we laugh at it.
Yeah, they tried that here.
Yeah, but us that can drink, like people that know what they're doing, putting it away.
Yeah.
Like, we'll sit there and drink, 15 schooners. We'll stumble out of the pub. Like, if you know the owners of the pub, it's not so much of a problem. Clubs everywhere now. It's fucked. They'll stop you.
Yeah.
Here's
the same now. It's the club's responsibility to make sure that you're not leaving and driving home.
I had heard a little bit different too. Is that in Australia? At least this was the Sydney story anyway. But that in fact the reason why a part of it came into play is because of the backpackers in Australia, because they would come over from other countries and they'd go and start drinking in the pubs and a little bit of the rabble rousers, and they'd want to start up with some fights and stuff and start bucking up to people. So the clubs started saying, fine, well then we're just not. It's the moment you look the least bit intoxicated in the club, you're gonna have to leave. And the only reason I found out that was the policy was because I went out front. This is back when I smoked. I went out front to smoke, and I went to go light my cigarette, and I dropped it. And we were at this pub in Sydney on a fucking hill, and my cigarette hit the sidewalk and started rolling down the sidewalk downhill. So I had to go chasing after it to go get my cigarette. I should have just said fuck it and grabbed another one, but I went and chased my cigarette, and the guy who was in charge of monitoring, the state you were in, he saw me kind of like fumbling to go get that cigarette, and that was it.
That was it, baby.
Kicked me out.
I can see you running down the hill trying to catch a cigarette. That
was it. Sent me packing.
Yeah. You guys have some serious fines. I mean, the fines that you were saying last time you were on the show, that's some serious fucking money, man. And that's not. I mean, that's me mortgaging my house, my cars, mortgaging everything I own to pay off the fine. I can see
$220,000 for no prescription. That's ludicrous. And if you found selling illegal cigarettes here in New South Wales, it's a slap on the wrist. But then when you read into the other parts of the law, or what the TGA is proposing, that manufacturers of liquids, if your liquid comes up hot for one of the 8 or 10 chemicals that they've listed,
Yeah.
like they mass spec it, then it's $1 million fine. If you're a corporation, it's an $11 million fine for working off this banned list. But we don't.
Yeah. I'm just
Hey,
moving.
Curtis.
I'm moving. If I get fined, I'm moving to the U.S.
Daniel, I've always said from the get-go, if there was one thing I could get rid of, if they would just leave us the fuck alone, one thing that I would get rid of, it would definitely be an element of a nick cap. I would say
Yeah.
no more than 36. Like, you don't need really 50 on the street. You know what I mean? Like, I think the average person who would want to quit could do it successfully on 36.
Yep.
That's me.
Well, if you look at some of the documentation on nicotine, 36 milligrams is the therapeutic dose.
Right.
And it actually, and there's a lot of documentation now for people in nursing homes and things like that are early onset dementia and things like that. They're slapping nicotine patches on them. And they're actually,
Man,
what?
that's a lot.
No. It's lower milligram nicotine patches, and it's actually helping them with cognitive, like with thought process.
Yeah,
these are things that need to be brought to the table and worked on with pharma, with biotech, and with the government, and say, look, we're trying to help here. You want to control the flow of nicotine? That's what this is all really about. It's got nothing else to do. It's nicotine. Why? Because we've uncovered all the other therapeutic uses for nicotine now. We've done all the science, all the chemistry. Now you want to take it from us. Get fucked. Doesn't belong to you. It belongs to the people.
right.
That's it.
Yep.
What are their
Simple.
standards on caffeine there
Where?
in
Here
Australia?
in Australia?
Yeah,
Nothing?
nothing.
They don't give a shit about that.
No. Caffeine, alcohol, standards on alcohol now. We used to import a lot of beer from around the world. Now it's brewed under license. Like, if I wanted a proper Beck's, like out of Bremen, I'd have to find a shop that brings it in.
Okay.
The stuff that's brewed here, Heineken, all of that, like all European beers that I used to love drinking, they all taste like cat's piss.
Yeah,
They're not brewed to the same quality.
I mean, can a kid? I don't know what energy drinks you guys have in there. Can a kid go into a store and buy an energy drink?
They can, but it's
Is there a
sort
cap?
of at the no, not really. No, they're trying to push for energy drinks and kids that they can only get X amount, or they can't walk into a supermarket and buy 4 packs of 500 mils or half-liter cans. And that's what they're doing and throwing them in their school bags. But no, there's no caps on that yet. Yet you'll see there's kids that have appeared here in emergency rooms, buzzed out of their heads on energy drinks.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you'll go through their bags and they've got pens, like they've got disposables. And it's like, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
So they blame the nicotine. They don't blame the energy drink.
Yeah, the energy drinks.
Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it bothers me because I every time I go into the store, I always have, when I go pick up my grandson after school, and his school is right next to a elementary school, so 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, and those kids are standing in front of me in line, and they all have energy drinks in their hands. So they're all between the ages of what's 8th grade max? Is that what, 13, Tim? 12, 13?
Probably somewhere in that neck of the woods. I'm trying to think. I mean, if you go to kindergarten at around 5, that means you're out of elementary school by 11. 8th and 9th, yeah, you're probably 13, 13 going on 14.
Yeah, and they'll have 2 in their hands, and the cashier, there's no hesitation, no, you can't buy that. It's just whatever it is, 2 for $5 or 3 for $5. And the kids will buy whatever's on sale. So if they see Monsters 3 for $5, they'll grab 3 cans of Monsters for $5. But nobody says nothing. Nobody says nothing. You got all these kids amped up on whatever that shit is that's in there. I forget the name of it. The drug.
Ginseng guarana.
All that shit.
We
Yeah. Hey, let's go fuck shit
taurine.
But I mean, I think that's the crux of the issue is that, you know, they talk about the flavors all the time, but the kids, yeah, the flavors make it more easy to consume or more enjoyable to consume. But the point is they're chasing the buzz.
That buzz.
Yeah,
man.
like, I mean, even if some of those fucking energy drinks taste like fucking garbage, I mean, they don't all taste good. Sorry. I mean, they don't all taste good. Some of them, yes. Some of them, no. They kind of have that soury taste to them. The kid will fight past that as long as he can get that fucking rush, you know, for 35, 40 minutes or whatever it is.
I haven't bought one. So I thought that was alcohol, but that's not alcohol. It's an energy drink, Bang.
Yeah, Bang. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know. I thought it was actually alcohol. So I didn't notice any kids buying it, but
No.
so I just assumed it was an alcohol energy drink for adults. I thought because
You're talking about those little 5-hour energy things they sell?
No,
on
the
counter?
Bang energy drinks. You see all the people doing the TikTok videos. So I assumed most of the TikTok videos that I saw were adults. So I automatically assumed that it was an alcoholic beverage energy drink.
No, they have fucking gamer shit out now. I see fucking twitchy people advertising this fucking this fucking powdered bullshit that you can mix up that's all energy driven.
That's next, Curtis. They're going to go after those guys. Cotton candy Bang.
Yeah, because fucking kids like flavors, Curtis.
They like it's nothing to do with the shit that wires them up.
No, not at all.
Yeah. They have
Okay. So I'm now getting emails from from nicotine manufacturers regarding the October one. They want to talk.
Yeah, they do. Are they asking you? No, I was going to say, are they asking you how to sneak it into the country?
No, someone in China is actually listening to the show, and they've just sent me a bunch of questions.
Uh-oh. Yeah, I don't know how you guys are going to do it. It's going to be shocking. Now, when you go to the doctors, is that a copay to get that prescription?
That still hasn't been talked about either.
Oh, shit.
So that could be a $90 visit just for the prescription.
Yeah, I was going to say
and then
copay.
on top of that, the prescription itself, and we don't know what they're going to try and put on it. But there's two sections. You can do it through the personal import scheme, or you can do it through the pharmacies. Personal import scheme and freight coming into Australia, our border police they're going to be shitting themselves come October, leading into this.
I got a question for you. What happens to me when I come to visit Australia? Do I have to abide by your rules and regulations?
Who did I send that to the other day? Yeah, you have to have a prescription, apparently.
What am I going to go in for?
Or you have to,
a sore thumb?
or you have to sign it on your waiver that you won't be selling it while it's here.
Oh, yeah, that's automatic, isn't it? Though that's like one of those things that's automatic when you enter a country. You don't actually get to see that list, but you should know that something is on that list that you're not supposed to do when you're there. But yeah, I could see Americans going, my thumb is sore. I'm going to have to go see a doctor. But while I'm here, can I get it for? I'm going to be here 2 weeks.
But I know.
How much can I bring in?
Then you got to. They haven't actually put a list and I'm looking at this and I'm going, okay.
That's kind of the important thing. Well, let's think about it this way. So most people that come to visit Australia are usually going to stay at least 2 weeks because that's too far to fly. 2 weeks? Well, I'm saying normal person that's coming from the U.S. If they're coming to visit Australia,
3 to 4 weeks.
3 to 4 weeks. So you're looking at, say, 240 mils of juice. Is that too little? Should that be enough?
Don't worry. You know, we might know someone.
Yeah. No, I know someone. I'm just saying the average person that's flying in there, if he's only allowed to bring in, say, 60 mils per week, and you're staying 3 weeks, so you're allowed 100 and what is that, 180?
Yeah, I really don't know. And
That's scary.
these are the questions that no one's answered yet. There's meant to be presentations on how the laws are going to be, put in. None of that's been done yet.
Wow. And it's November's the date?
We got
final?
49 days today.
Jesus Christ.
49 days from today.
That's crazy. I mean, okay, like when I got hurt in Italy, I just went to the doctors. He fixed me up, gave me what I needed, gave me a Band-Aid. I tried to give him money. He said absolutely not. He wasn't going to take any money. I felt bad because I was taking his time away from somebody else that he could have been helping. So I wanted to give him money. He said absolutely no. And he was going to have me arrested if I didn't shut up, because I wanted to pay him for the medicine and what he did for me. Is it the same way there? If I get hurt as an American there, how's that work? And I can I'm trying to figure out how I get my prescription for free.
Okay. If you're a US citizen, we have reciprocal medical for certain things. So if you had a heart attack here, you'd be looked after, but you wouldn't have to pay.
Right.
If you had a baby here, the baby would then get Australian citizenship.
Yeah.
Even though you go back to the US, but the baby was born in Australia, it's an Australian citizen. Yeah. From birth, which is cool as fuck.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure.
Yeah, if I end up like falling down and getting stitches while
there's
I'm there,
certain things that stitches, that's not a problem. If you're with me, I'd do it myself. That's not an issue.
Go see the vet down the street.
Just give you a strong drink and tell you to bite your bottom lip. You'll be all right.
Pour some alcohol.
Shut the fuck up, and off we go.
That's two for flinching.
Yeah. Hey, while you're here, would you like to get a prescription for nicotine?
Yeah, I got to go back over that same spot again because you flinched.
We're not handing out lidocaine today. It's nicotine day.
Yeah.
So push it a little bit harder. Nick strength goes up, but no stitches and most things you'll get looked after. But for the most part, no, it's a deal Australia and United States have. It's
mine was some stupid thing. I was there in Rome and I got bit by something and I got an allergic reaction to it, and it was puffing up, and I was like, okay, I need to go find out what the fuck's going on here. I'm not dying in Rome, and he just gave me some cream, which was super high in steroids, like way higher than I would be allowed in America. And I just put it on there, and it was gone like in 2 days. But, I felt bad. I figured, that medicine could have went to a citizen, an Italian citizen, not to myself. And I wanted to pay for that medicine, and he just insisted on not taking my money. I felt bad.
Yeah, I hear.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
I like the next one. The kangaroo. Swinging at the roo and waiting for the roo to kick his ass.
Was that the one where the roo was going after his dog? So he chased the fucking kangaroo down, and the kangaroo bowed up on him. I mean, and the guy just smacked him right upside his head.
Yeah, I won't.
Kangaroos aren't small, right?
No.
Everyone says they're small, little, cute creatures. Bullshit. They'll grow up to 6.5 foot.
Yeah, those red. What are they? Red something?
Reds. Yeah, reds. Yeah, Trevor's the biggest one. He passed away a while back. Trevor was the biggest one. He was 6'2".
Yeah, I ain't messing with one of those.
On his hind quarter.
Kill my dog.
100 pounds.
Hey, Timmy.
We used to deal with them all the time.
Are you ready to give us some news?
Let's go.
All right, let me find your thing. They changed everything over here, so
it's okay.
Let me make sure I hit the right one. Swifties news. There it is.
Fake. I'm ready for some news. It's been a long day, and I put in the extra effort tonight and pulled up a few articles for everybody. I'm actually kind of excited about the advocacy one at the end. I hope that it inspires some people to take up the advocacy fight, because pretty much it's copy paste, right? So we'll talk about that when we get there, right? So we got to get through two others before we get to that. Unfortunately, I don't have any vaping news articles that address the United States specifically. However, history would show that any article I have about vaping in the United States is pretty much a negative article. So, I mean, there's really not much to be all that excited about. Like, I never have any feel-goods about the United States, right? So let's talk about some other countries. And this doesn't include Australia. Yeah, so Australia, they got their own fucking problems. So we're not gonna kick a man while he's down. We're not gonna do it. And Paul, you can put on some glasses too. You're fine. We're not gonna touch you. You're good. And I have. There you go. See, I got it. He's got the shades though. See, I got to wear these old fucking corrective fucking reading glasses because I can't see what's on a pill bottle anymore. All right, so let me.
I'll back up Paul.
Yeah, exactly. Well, John, I know you. Yeah, there you go. See, yeah. Well, mask up, glass up. Yeah, no, you can. Yeah, we won't kick a man when he's down. See, look how unfortunate this man looks. Could you inflict pain on that man any more than what he's been through? I don't think so. I think that is the epitome of let that guy have a break. Give that man a break. Yep, that's right, Matt. I'm going to defy your mask order, and I'm going to deliver the news maskless. Okay, so you guys are going to have to deal with that one. All right, John, I am sharing my screen. Could you allow my screen into the show? All right, so this one involves the Spanish government. Don't forget about Spain over there.
Viva la España!
Over in Europe, don't forget about Spain. There are a bunch of avid vapors over there. I think they have about as aggressive and booming of a vaping community as you'd find anywhere. And it's interesting. You don't get much news out of Spain. You don't really hear about what's going on over there. However, they are active. Let me make it a little bit bigger. So right now, the e-cigarette industry is going to sue the Spanish government over a misinformation campaign. So it's good to see that the vaping industry standing up for what they believe in Spain. I kind of feel like even though in any country you go to, the government is going to always sort of have the heavy hand and they're going to kind of rule with that with the iron fist. But people believe in what they believe in. And I know it's getting serious, okay? At least you won't catch COVID on the show, right? So Spain's e-cigarette industry has taken legal action against the Spanish government, claiming a long-running anti-vaping campaign is breaking laws on several accounts. And we'll get into the exactly what those particular elements are. But the particular institution that is actually filing the lawsuit, in short, their acronym is UPEV. I'll try to say this as best I can in my loose and broken Spanish accent, but it's Unión de Promotores y Empresarios del Vapeo, UPEV. Or they, right? They're A-E-I-O-U or A-E-I-O-U. So
muy bien, muy
thank
bien.
you very much. So they are, they're the Union of Vaping Promoters and Entrepreneurs. So these are people that are actually the forefront pioneers that are developing vaping over there. I mean, they have a lot of the same devices and elements and things that we have. They vape on the same stuff that we have, but they do have a budding market where they're making their own devices. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong or anybody in the chat, but I think the Widowmaker RDA was made by a Spanish creator. I believe that's where that came from. So if you have the Widowmaker, anybody remembers the Widowmaker, there was really nothing like ultimately unique about the device other than it had these airflow control rings that you could change out. So it kind of came apart in like 3 or 4 pieces, and they had these inside the pack. They had these different rings you could put on that kind of either had more restrictive airflow or more wide open. They had like honeycomb and then like a three-hole one. I have one. I haven't used it in a while. But at any rate, so they believe, or at least they're going after the Spanish the Spanish government in terms of what you can read it there and you can practice yourself. Everyone keep in mind, European Spanish is different from Latin American Spanish, so it's not the same. It's not the same. Go ahead and buy Rosetta Stone. You'll learn. El tabaco ata y te mata. All right, that means tobacco ties and kills you. But they say that they violated several articles of the Spanish General Law of Advertising and the Law of Publicity. Now I can't even speak English. Publicity and institutional communication. So according to the UPEV campaign, which was launched a couple years ago back in 2019, the campaign states that the anti-campaign identifies vaping and smoking tobacco in a manifestly misleading way, putting both activities on the same level and attributing the same harmful effects to them. And they find that to be very misleading and damaging because that's absolutely not the truth. And what they want, their list of demands basically state that they just want them to immediately cancel the campaign based on the false advertising. But in their legal submission, the UPEV have presented technical and scientific reports that show the benefits of vaping as a smoking cessation tool. Whether or not these government officials will listen, that's one thing, but that's what they've presented to differentiate between the two. They can show the ultimate harms of tobacco or traditional combustible cigarettes and how harmful they are to a person as opposed to how vaping impacts a human being. So the union blamed the government for discouraging vaping, which has led to the closure of 40 different shops and the loss of 400 jobs. Now, what I can't garner or gather from this article, Spain is not that big in the grander scheme of America. So while it might take you 6 hours to go from Barcelona to Madrid or Madrid in some sectors of the world, depending on your dialect, it's about 6 hours. It's about 6 hours. Trust me, I know what I'm talking about. I was in the mix. Let's just put it that way. Take your mask off, John. You look like you're suffocating. So it might take you 6 hours to go from there to there. However, if you take Spain, Spain will fit in the state of Texas.
Yep.
In terms of total, square footage, Spain is actually pretty small. But I can't tell. They said 40 shops and a loss of 400 jobs, but that could mean Barcelona alone. Yes, you're right. You're right.
Sorry, that was funny.
That's okay. But it doesn't. I got to imagine there's way more than 40 vape shops in all of Spain. I mean, when you consider like Madrid, Barcelona, Mallorca, Valencia, you can name all these cities off. I guarantee you there's more than 40 shops countrywide. But that's what they're saying is it closed. It ended up causing 40 shops and over 400 jobs to be lost. They also believe the campaign promoted by the Spanish Ministry of Health attacks the honor and prestige of the professionals. So basically undermining them and saying that these people who are professional don't know what they're talking about. Basically calling them stupid and saying they're full of crap. Good Lord, John, what are you going to rob a bank during the show? Now he looks like his picture, and I don't have that one. Oh no, it's because it's green, so his green screen's showing up on it, so that's why it looks orange and red. There you go. It as of right now, there's no known date for when the court case will begin, but the UPEV is highly confident that they'll be able to at least beat this just based on the fact of the scientific evidence that they've provided. that's their gut feeling. If they believe that, then you'll have to trust it. But this is something I'll be interested in watching, only to see how this is going to turn out, because I would like to see someone win somewhere. So I do have some friends in Spain who vape, and I know that they're very passionate about it. So my takeaway on that one was it doesn't sound like they're up against a full-on ban. However, the overt discouraging of vaping is worth a fight when most campaigns hold no valid truth or facts that can be substantiated. Normally, these campaigns are based on would, could, should, maybe, mights, and a bunch of unproven scientific data. It's just shit that they threw out. All right, so moving along. Here, now we're going to move to another country. How about we take a trip over to Hong Kong, everyone?
Oh, wow.
All right, let me see your name. Let me see your. What is
I
it?
don't
Mandarin.
speak. I don't
Mandarin.
speak. No, I don't speak. I don't speak Chinese. I'm sorry. That's the only one. That's the only one. I just don't know. I remember hearing like a.
Dirty cuss word.
No, it was like a video or something. It was counting to 10 in Chinese or Japanese, but I don't remember it now, so don't ask me to repeat it. All right, so this one, you got a bunch of principals in groups now that want to push the government for an all-out flavor ban in their country. So 10 head teachers groups have come together to implore the Hong Kong government to impose an outright ban on new smoking products. This includes vaping or e-cigarettes, as well as heat not burn devices. And so because they they took note of the fact that they found primary school children, so these are kids that are 10 or less, seen using vaping devices or heat not burn devices. So because they saw that, they want the government to push an all-out ban on all new cigarette devices. It's also very rare in this country to see this many people come together for a common appeal. But this past Monday, which was just this past Monday, they also submitted a bill forbidding the sale and related activities of e-cigarettes and heat not burn products, which is still currently kind of stuck in the legislative pipeline. So it's not moving yet, but they want it to move, only because I believe the legislative chamber will convene in October, so they want to try to get something moving before then. So this is the primary reason why they want the ban, is that the teachers and principals, whoever these student facility or student faculty people are, they think that because these alternatives have been introduced into the flow of the general public, that now kids who have tried or used these particular devices, that they're going to use that gateway theory argument, and they think that if they use these things, that it's just going to open up the door to them smoking conventional cigarettes, when data doesn't really support that. Despite the consensus, so there's a bunch of pro-establishment people who are all about this. So despite the consensus among pro-establishment lawmakers for the banning of e-cigarettes, there are some in the commercial and industrial sector who have questioned the validity of outlawing heated tobacco products while they still have nothing to say about regular cigarettes. So it's the same kind of thing. They're going to leave regular smokes on the shelf. People can get those readily whenever they want them. However, anything that's new, they want it gone. Only because they kind of think it's attracting the youth. So in their bid to push the proposed legislation through the council, which convenes in October, they are drafting the bill to consider provisions to further discourage traditional cigarettes and a slight relaxation on the on the ban on heated tobacco products. So in order to try to get what they want, they're going to try to push legislation that would potentially maybe discourage people from buying cigarettes. I don't know if that means a ban on cigarettes or other types of regulations on top of that, but relax on the heat not burn devices, which are kind of gaining a little bit of popularity, but thinking that they could push those out. So the teachers groups are urging the authorities to make Hong Kong a smoke-free city by targeting newer products first. So they kind of want to go in reverse. So rather than take away the cigarettes and leave the popularity of other tobacco harm reduction methodologies, they want to take the tobacco harm reduction away and then, quote unquote, somehow figure out how to get rid of cigarettes. So, probably a lofty goal. I highly doubt that it's going to... Actually, Curtis, it's not about the drink of water. It's the fact that I don't breathe. That's really what this boils down to. I think I took one breath at the beginning of all of this, and I'm still on that same breath.
Tim, but your mom was an English teacher. So I'm sure she taught you that.
To what? Drink or breathe?
To breathe while you're doing your speeches and
No, see, the fact is you guys don't notice that I am breathing properly, but I'm able to this is like singer bullshit, right? Like when a singer has to sing, that you have to take your breaths at strategic moments in order to be able to perpetuate and hold that note.
Woo!
Okay? So I am breathing in through the mouth. I mean, in through the nose, out through the mouth. You just don't even notice that. It's maybe when I do the little nose swipe, maybe that's when I'm taking my... No, I'm not trying to distract you with some bullshit I just made up. No, I'm not. But it is true. I will talk for a while, and it might appear that I don't breathe. But that's okay. Hey, you guys employed me with the news. You're going to get the news 10,000 words or less. It's probably way more than that. So the city cited it. Well, these teacher fuckers, whoever they are, they cited a study by the University of Hong Kong, which found that about 1,500 primary school and 7,500 secondary school students had used heat-not-burn products between 2018 and 2019. Now, forgive me, but aren't there like a billion fucking people in China?
I was just going to say the same thing. There's some high...
I think that counts awfully low. If they're arguing about 1,500 primary school students and 7,500 secondary school students touching a heat-not-burn device, I'd say you don't need to ban nothing. That's not even 10,000 people when you put both of those numbers together. And that's between 2018 and 2018. So we don't know what the numbers are now. The teachers group is concerned over the impact misleading information could have on the children and their decision making. So by telling people that this is better for you and safer than smoking, they think that it's going to impact the kids and that they'll be more inclined to want to choose these devices, which... If I caught my kid doing something, I would much rather know that they were using a vaping device and not an actual cigarette. But that's just me. This one guy, Chairman Lau, said that he had seen children below the age of 10 using e-cigarettes. So the appeal for the blanket ban extends beyond the proposed bill's previous amendments, which would outlaw the importation, production, distribution, sales, and promotion of e-cigarettes, but not the consumption. Go figure on that one. So if you can get it in your hot little hand, you can use it. It's a matter of whether or not you can get it. But again, that means that they're shutting down production and distribution within the country. So the pro-establishment lawmaker Wong Ting Kwong, best I could do right there.
You got Paul's attention.
Thank you. Said trade representatives and legislators opposed the bill because they say heated tobacco products are the lesser of two evils. Conversely, they don't seem to understand why they're taking this approach in China. Japan is actually trying to ban cigarettes, but not the heat-not-burn devices. So the conflict in methodology, they don't seem to understand why China wants to go this way, but Japan's going the other way. But the Food and Health Bureau has stated that the government is planning to secure passage of the bill prior to October. So I don't know what it'll look like in its final form. I don't know that we have anybody from China that's on the show or in the chat ever. You are, John. Congratulations, you're from China. If you know somebody, and they can tell you what's going on, I'd like to get an update from that. My takeaway on this one was I said I think the Hong Kong government is doing this ass backwards. They should be looking to slow the importation of traditional cigarettes, not the healthy alternative. I think it's a knee-jerk reaction by these teachers. Anytime the people see something that looks detrimental, they're going to ride that high horse. Anyway, so that's your news from Spain and Hong Kong. Now we're going to move into the advocacy portion. This one, I don't know much about the particular group. Maybe Paul or John, maybe you know a little bit more. But apparently there is a Safer Than Smoking Wiki team. There's actually a website for Safer Than Smoking Wiki. But what I like about this is they're getting ready to run a campaign here in the next handful of weeks. I think the next month or so. And I'll send the link over to John.
Yeah.
But let me send it now. It's kind of a long-winded link. But what I think is great about this is if anybody who's primed to be out on Twitter, okay, it's fucking tough to do 40 characters or less, let alone put in some viable information to back that up, right? You can say whatever you want, but typically it's hard to throw a link in there. So I'm going to give this to John. He can put it in the chat. Okay. But anybody who's out there on Twitter, you can use these comments. You can use these particular statements, which all typically start with that hashtag Safer Than Smoking. And you can do it for snus. You can do it for heat not burn. But they actually have a nice little section down here for vaping. But it says our results clearly show a lower toxicity of e-liquids, including flavored e-liquids, when compared to cigarette smoke condensate. But the articles are actually tagged in here as well. So the information
all broken down into categories as well.
Yeah.
Huh?
So cancer and tumors, which actually there's quite a few there. Is there any other categories? Cardiovascular stuff. It goes on and on and
Nice.
on. Oral health, public health. These are all little one-shot, little advocacy things of information that actually have physical articles or studies to back them up. People can go and read these articles and learn all about them. The only thing that I saw that might be detrimental in all of this, and I would say to anybody who chooses to use this particular link to make some tweets out in Twitter or on Twitter, excuse me, would be don't regurgitate the same ones over and over and over again.
Right.
Try to mix it up as much as you possibly can, because I think the one thing that Twitter, a lot of us got accused of being for quite a bit of period of time, was that we were bots.
Yeah.
We were bots. And the fact is, if you look at a lot of people's profiles on Twitter, in the bio it says not a bot. But that said, I think this is excellent. So if you really didn't have anything to really talk about or didn't know what to talk about, there's plenty of talking points in this. So basically, it's Twitter made easy for you. Yeah. So if you want to go push this stuff, you're following some people, you want to make some particular articles, at least there's an article there to back you up. I would encourage you to maybe read that study or read that article. So if someone does want to engage with you, you'll know what you're talking about rather than just, but you can copy paste and they all will fit on Twitter just fine. Other than I missed the fact that I missed the hashtag. But if you want to, go ahead.
The launch.
Can't hear you, Phil. Can't hear you, Tim.
I'm back now.
Oh, he's back.
Yep. I couldn't hear Paul. There you go. Try it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There you go, Paul. What were you saying, Paul?
I put in chat, and if you could put that in the chat for everyone.
Yeah.
It's the main page is Safer Nicotine Wiki.
Got it.
I'm part of this group on Twitter. There's a whole crew of us, and the people behind it, we've worked tirelessly now for months and months and months to put this portal together. And there's so much information. If you get rebuttals from someone, good luck. Rebuttals now cannot be, it's no dice. And there's also a list of 60 very well-respected worldwide agencies now that Professor Gardner put together for everyone. That's also part of this group. And there's another 1,000 or so documents that can be used and shown back in their faces now.
Right.
But yeah, it's going on.
And this kind of addresses the one article that I talked about. I think it was maybe 2 weeks ago, where basically the antis right now are kind of running out of ammunition. Like they really don't have a whole lot to fight with. They're just kind of regurgitating the same old stupid propaganda crap that they have tried to stand on. At least they might have started out with some element of viability, but now they're just sort of like, oh yeah, well so are you kind of arguments anymore. You know what I mean? Like they're all sort of childish and dumb because they really don't have anything else to talk about. This is an absolute arsenal of viable information that you could literally pummel the majority of these idiots with just straight out of the gate. I mean, everything from toxicity to cardiovascular. I mean, you can just go down the list. I mean, weight.
Now, is the link that's on each one of those things kind of takes you back to the research, so you could still read?
Yeah, it takes you directly to the research notes.
So you're not just copying and pasting. If you
God,
should
no.
be going to look at the article and actually reading it as well. Yeah.
The people that are in behind Safer Nicotine Wiki, we were just goofing around one night on Twitter. We're in a private chat, and then out of nowhere, it was created. And then we've brought it. There's a number of professors putting articles over to us, documentation coming from studies that aren't released to the public, and media releases. They're all being put in there. There's the who's who of the advocacy world from around the world, and links to all the different players, different radio programs, everything.
Yep. And if you look,
so much information.
And these are all legit links to actual respected research papers and studies that are done. I mean, if you look in there, you've got Royal College of Physicians in there, Science Direct, PubMed. I mean, this isn't fucking TMZ article bullshit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Awesome. I like it. I like it.
So there you go. That's for all your advocacy freaks out there.
Well, Tim, thank you for bringing us the news.
No problem. Love doing it. That's my job. I do my job. I do my job.
Are you doing your Yiddish now? Is that Yiddish? Would that be Yiddish?
I don't know. Did your mom call you Yanni?
No, just
that's the Greek.
Giovanni.
That's the Greeks. The Greeks would say Yanni.
Giovanni. That's exactly when I knew I was in trouble. If she used my real Italian name, I knew I was in trouble. If she just called me John, I was safe. But if she threw out Giovanni Calogero Troncali, I knew I was in trouble.
Curtis, we would have been here all night, bro. You would have been like, bro, I got to go to bed. Tim, you keep on reading. I'll catch up to you tomorrow.
They want Tim to read every one of the links. Tim's book on tapes on vape advocacy. Coming to a store near you soon.
Got the little alfalfa sprout going on up there. What the fuck?
You just be glad you got hair up there, you son of a bitch.
Get rid of the sprout.
Hey, yours is still got. You still
vaping makes your hair grow.
I hope so. I'd be rubbing that VG up there.
I'm lying. It doesn't make your hair grow.
I'm lying. You might as well throw that out there. You know, that'll get all the anti-vaping people scrambling. Holy shit! They found out it helps people grow hair.
Exactly.
How do we combat this? Oh, what do we do? What do we do?
Close, Curtis. It's water from Costco. Started with a C. Anyway,
that water comes from the rivers of Washington. I doubt it.
The most purest springs in all of Washington.
Yeah, there's absolutely no one at the top of the spring peeing in the water. Absolutely no one.
It's just it's straight vodka. So
damn.
No, it's not.
It's fucking vodka, man.
It's vodka, man. Non-chilled, hot
Clear
vodka. God damn, that just.
Did anybody notice that Brian didn't show up tonight? Did anyone notice that?
Oh
Brian
they threw up. Where's Brian? I saw. I had to say. Yeah, I saw one up there. He's working.
We forgive him for that. I'm just saying. I wanted to know if anybody in the chat even noticed that Brian wasn't here tonight.
There was no arguments. There's no arguments. Or as we make fun of him on the Friday Night BS show, Brian's long-winded answers.
Oh, that's right. Hey, No one can beat me in the long winded. Well, I don't know. Brian might be
Oh,
able to beat me in
I
the
don't know,
long-winded,
man. Oh man, I almost need 3 energy drinks just to get one of Brian's responses out of the way.
I do this a lot when he's.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on, get to the
Uh,
point, man. Get to the point.
so, hey, Paul, what would you say is the hottest selling mod in Australia?
Right now,
Yeah, well, I'm kind of curious. What is everybody buying there in Australia? What would you think it is?
recently there's been a push for high quality refillable pods. That's one. Well, the second one that's like most of us, we've got a couple of these sitting on our desks.
Yeah, yeah,
The Abyss, only because what you can and what you can't do with it.
yeah.
And you can run it as a side by side, either as an 18650 or a 21700.
I got a job now. I might have to get one of them.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just curious because what I've noticed over the years with vapors in Australia is they tend to want to buy the U.S. product. They tend to want to buy the upper el- upper end of any vape device. So if let's just say they're never going to buy what is at, say, the cheaper end, no matter what. It's always going to be something like I don't know I don't know all the names of all the different vape gear.
No, that's fine. One that a lot of the tradies really like is the like the Aegis Boost, but the Boost Plus.
The Boost.
Yeah, but the Boost Plus, and then when you switch out the silly head on the new one, and you actually put the RBA in, then you got a little mini RBA.
Yeah.
Like stuff like that, yeah. I can live with this.
What I've always noticed, it was always the higher end device. Whether it wasn't a sub-ohm tank, it was God, man, I just went blank with names of sub-ohm tanks.
A lot of the stuff here in Australia is rebuildables.
Rebuildables are big, yeah. Especially RTAs, right?
Yeah. And look, I'm a huge fan. But I like smaller ones now. Like the Aspire Nikos and things like this, little 22s that will fit on a side by side, but it's still a vape.
Yeah.
Serious, I might have to get me one.
Like,
Tim, just do it.
Yeah, Aspire, they're getting a bigger following here now, and especially now that they're doing the side-by-side stuff. Geek Vape is still very, very popular here. Abyss, because of Bogan's involvement with that project, and Dogpo. A lot of stuff that Mike Vapes and a lot of the reviewers were doing. A lot of that was popular.
Yeah.
The stuff that, well, obviously the stuff that Bogan does, but
what I'm talking about is basically the stuff that you would see Todd reviewing.
Yeah, look, there are a lot of collectors.
The SQ, stuff like that. Your
what?
I have it somewhere.
Scrapes. Yeah. Well, there's also a very big MCL group here in Australia, and yeah, we do like high end. I always had a fascination for
high end equals
Ant.
quality. High end equals quality.
Well, Vicious Ant, only because I wanted all matchy stuff in black and silver. Yeah. I went through that stage a couple of years ago. A lot of mech mods here in Australia. A lot of mech mods. And now that Lost Vape is releasing like the almost indestructible version of the 21700, yep. It's
Yeah, no, that's something I've noticed. There's always, anytime in a lot of the groups that I belong to, and a lot of the people from Australia were always posting, uh, not your average stuff, but they were always very, they wouldn't shit on smock. They wouldn't say, it's a lot of them are always, hey, whatever works for you works for you. But I have noticed that the tendency that they're towards more of the Europe, UK mod makers, more of the US mod makers, stuff like that. That was a big seller for you guys, in the past, say like the last 7 or 8 years ago, maybe 5 years ago. It was like US made mods were big sellers there. It was hard to get them there, and you were kind of hoping and praying it got past customs and you didn't have to pay some crazy outlandish fucking tax to pick up your stuff.
No,
But
well, we don't really have to pay the import tax. I had a lot of really high end stabwood mods at one stage that I was getting from all over the world, and like really exotic pieces of timber. I had one from what was the name of that thing? It was a Axis.
Oh,
mod,
out of aren't they out
Axis
of Colorado?
mods. Yeah, originally,
Yeah.
I had a few of the Axis mods, a couple of the very hard like colors to get, and there was a piece that was just solid timber with very small flecks of resin through
Acrylic.
it.
Yeah, resin.
Stuff like that. Zachary, I'll kill you for that. You are not getting a fucking Vegemite flavored vape. Fuck off. Oh my God.
Mike threw out the Hugh Jackson one.
Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
No, he's still a dickhead.
He's still. Oh, I thought you were gonna say a cunt.
No,
that'd be a good thing.
No. You took the word. I didn't use it. I got away with that one. But no, we've always enjoyed better quality products here,
right?
Because we've had access to a lot of the modders. Filipino mods are huge here amongst the collecting community. US, Purge, Kennedy,
TVL's big.
back in the day, TVL was back in the day. I've still got an original timekeeper here somewhere that's never been fired.
Oh wow!
With a serial number of something stupid. I think it's in the first 50.
Oh wow!
That's never been fired. And then I got 2 Purge mods exactly the same in flight cases that have never been fired. I don't have any of my Kennedy stuff. I gave all that away.
Yeah.
I gave that to a friend of mine. But no. Anything collectible. We like collecting things.
Yeah, collectibles. Yeah, all my TVL mods are low numbers. In the 30s. All the stuff are in the 30s. I couldn't get any lower than 30s. Then the money went up higher. But I remember seeing a lot of those mods, just the mod itself.
Mullet? No, dude. I used to have long hair and then I actually shaved it all off again. Went back to bald. I decided to grow it back. But yeah, TVL. I think I do have a TVL here somewhere.
I really like their stuff. I just, to me, for a long time there is when I picked up a TVL mod, it felt like substance. It's heavy, it's bulky, it just felt like it was well-made product. So that's kind of the reason why I kind of stuck with them for many years. Where everything else kind of felt like a tube. It wasn't heavy, it didn't have any substance to it. It was very lightweight, flimsy. Felt like if I dropped it. And that was TVL and Rigmod. You remember Rigmod?
Yeah,
yeah, Rigmod too. It was the same way. They made really nice quality mods, except when they switched for that inner button. That pissed me off because that inner button broke on me after I dropped it. And I dropped it just right to bust it to where I couldn't hit the inner button anymore.
And I've also got this thing that's never been fired. It was given to me. Tugboat. This was
tugboats. Oh yeah.
Yeah, hang on. That's an original 21700 acrylic squonk that's never been fired.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Stuff like that.
Got the flag on there.
Yeah. And then unserialized VA Phantom
Oh yeah.
Oh, nice.
with an original. That's an original 22 Goon.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 22
Yeah,
Goon
that's,
original.
yeah, that's in
Oh, I hate it.
condition.
I hated that thing.
Oh, bad man. Fucking someone building
No.
with a big stick.
I love it. It was just really hard putting big coils in that thing.
Yeah, well, a good friend of mine here in Australia, Breeze Tones, I use his coils in just about everything that I've got. Okay. And when I run this, it's normally got micro aliens in it. Like little tiny triple 28s wrapped in 38 or something stupid like that.
Yeah.
You hate all goons. All right. Well,
No, I have
too
lots
bad,
of goons.
Zach.
I actually have a 22 somewhere around here, but I have a lot of goons. So I love
got
it.
the LP and 225s.
yeah.
I have the LP as well.
I run the LP, that and one of my gas mods on a 21700 SQ.
Yeah.
But that's one of the limited edition ones. Bogan brought this back for me from the UK
Oh,
when
nice.
he was over there. Right.
Nice.
But and I'll still say to this day, gas mods, right?
Gas mods out of Canada.
Yeah, but I love the simplicity of their build and their design. And being able to have something that has a like a small tank like underneath.
Yeah.
Like a squonkable RDTA.
Yeah.
Like this. And this is how I love to run this little sucker. I don't often run this, but yeah.
Yep, that's a
There you
great
go.
idea. Yeah, I have that here. That was a great
So
idea. I
you
forget
run-
the name of the company that came out with that idea first. But with the little 1 mil, 2 mil tank underneath it that you were able to squonk into.
That would have been
It was they were out of here. They were out of the US and they were
Yeah, I
called began with an S. Why
Yeah,
am I
I
going
can't
blank? They're
remember
gone
anymore.
now. They're gone now.
Yeah. But yeah, stuff like that I like to use when I'm at home. Like I'll squonk tobaccos more than anything these days. But the rest of the stuff, it's all fruits. For the most part. But
I can't remember the name of that company. Now it's bothering me.
All
right, well, we're done anyway. It's at the 2 hour and 7 minute mark. I want to thank Paul for jumping in and being a guest host tonight, taking the place of Brian tonight. Yeah, buddy.
Great job. Showed up on time, too, which Brian can't do.
And I apologize for the mix-up. Again, send all your hate mail to Comcast.net. What do you got there? Is that for golfers? That's for golfers.
Fill them in, Paul. I heard about it before the show went live.
That's for golfing.
That's for my bike.
Hey.
Electric bike. I bought a new toy.
But that thing is shaped like what I used to use back in the 90s when we were golfing. It would have a little it'd have a little a mirror in there, and we'd hold it up to look over the fans. But that's
that's a periscope.
Yeah. We used to use it at the golf tournaments.
Well, that's a periscope.
Yeah.
But no, this one's.
It looks like it.
This one's full of 36 volt. What is it? 13 amp hour, and it's full of 18650s. So if I ever get stuck for 18650s, I'll just crack this fucker open.
Yeah, that's like $300 right there.
Yeah. I thought it was just an oversized Pez dispenser.
What is that in hours for you on the bike? That's a couple hours. Good. What? 20 hours on the bike?
range on this one, because I've already hacked the computer.
Uh-oh.
So this will give me about 100 kilometers, so about 60 miles, 70
60
miles.
miles. That's damn good, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
it's a mountain bike, and lipos, Zach, for bikes, especially for mountain bikes. No, dice.
they're grade
Lipos won't
C.
handle it.
Yeah, they're grade C anyway. They're probably pretty low on the grade there for the 18650s that they use for those. I'm sure they're not using grade A fucking lipos in there.
No,
You know what I'm talking about? How they test
grade
them?
A, grade B. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know how it all works.
Yeah, I'm sure they're not using those in those. Maybe
No, but
they're paying for it
well,
because that battery's got to be what is it, US dollars? It's got to be like $250 for that thing. If you were to replace that battery,
comfortably. But I've got this one, and then I got the one that's on my bike. But
nice.
So I'm getting into electric bikes now.
Yeah, that should be fun there. Yeah, mountain bike too.
Not with me. I know electronics.
Yeah,
not a good idea for me.
Yeah,
Because I found out that I can put up to 1,000-watt motor on it. I'm like,
what the hell are you going to do with all that? On
the kid in the candy store right now.
oh, dude, come on, 70 clicks an hour on a treadly. That's fun.
Fuck that. That's when you seriously put a helmet on. All right, guys. Thank you, everybody out there in chat. Zachary, Modern Vapor, Mike. Who else is out there? Luke.
Mallory was in there. Lana. Who else? Going
Green
back.
Thumb.
Yeah, Curtis. Curtis is already gone.
Curtis.
Toasty Cheesy.
Yeah.
We had
Always
the whole
like
gang
Toasty.
tonight.
Thank you again. We'll see everybody next week. Again, thank you, Paul, for jumping in. We appreciate you a lot. Tim, thank you for bringing us the news every week. And we will see everybody next week. And let me make sure I hit the right goodbye because they're all
Night all.
screwed up.
Thanks for coming.
Good night, Mama.